So, you're looking for a furnished apartment in Dhaka. You've probably got a checklist, right? Location, style, and of course, rent. But what about the one thing that could actually save your life? Today, we're diving into why earthquake safety needs to be number one on that list.
You know the feeling. You walk in and it's perfect. The furniture is great, the view is amazing. But hold on a second. Underneath all that fresh paint and cool decor, is the building itself actually sound? Because, and this is so important, when it comes to apartments, looks can be incredibly deceiving. And this is the absolute key takeaway. A modern kitchen, shiny floors, brand new fixtures, all of that tells you exactly nothing about whether a building can handle a quake. Real safety, true safety, is all about the structure, and that has zero to do with interior design.
Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. Why are we focusing so much on Dhaka? Well, the city has this unique mix of factors that creates a kind of hidden risk that really every single resident needs to know about. So, what's the deal with Dhaka's situation? First off, it's incredibly dense. You've got so many people packed together. Then you've got this wild mix of brand new buildings standing right next to much older ones, and the quality of construction is all over the place. On top of that, a lot of renovations are just cosmetic fixes that can actually hide serious structural problems. All of this together creates a really complicated and uneven landscape of risk.
All right, I know what you're thinking. This sounds really complex. So how do you even begin to figure it out? Well, we can simplify everything with a really clear framework I like to call the 3 pillars of safety. Just think of this as your essential go-to guide for checking out any apartment. And boom, this image shows you the whole concept in one go. See, it's not just about one thing. Safety is about 3 interconnected parts. You've got structural integrity, you've got secured furniture, and you've got emergency exits. If even one of these pillars is shaky, the whole thing is compromised. Let's break each one down. First, and honestly, the most important one, structural integrity. This is the foundation of everything. A gorgeous apartment inside a weak building is still an unsafe home, period. This means you need to think about building code compliance. So, what's the move here? Ask for the paperwork. You can and you should ask to see the building approval from Rajuk, that's Dhaka's development authority, or any structural certificates. It is absolutely your right as a potential tenant.
All right, on to pillar number 2, secured furniture. This is where a furnished apartment brings its own unique risk. During an earthquake, all that heavy stuff, wardrobes, bookshelves, even a big TV, they don't just sit there. They become dangerous projectiles. They can injure you, obviously, but just as bad, they can fall over and completely block your only way out. And that leads us perfectly to our third and final pillar, emergency exits. A strong building is great, secured furniture is vital, but you still need a clear, reliable way to get out. So when you're touring a place, actually check the stairwells. Are they wide and clear, or are they filled with storage? Once you're outside, is the path to the street open? These little details are the ones that can mean the difference between getting out safely and being trapped.
Now, let's connect all this safety talk to something we all think about, the monthly rent. As you've probably guessed, there is a direct link between what you pay and how safe you are. And when you look at the data, well, it makes that connection impossible to ignore.
Looking at this chart again, just focus on the numbers right in the middle. The high-end apartments, the ones renting from 45K to 80K Taka, they're rated 95% safe. Now compare that to the budget apartments on the right, which score just 30%. That massive price difference, it isn't just about luxury. It's about the very real cost of doing things right, proper construction, regular maintenance, and real safety measures. Let's put this side by side to make it even clearer. At the high end, that rent is paying for strict code compliance and furniture that's been professionally anchored. Down at the budget end, you're often dealing with unknown building standards, furniture that's completely loose, and construction that might be vulnerable. The difference in risk is just, it's huge.
This bar chart really drives home that safety gap. Just look at the bars for structural safety. See that massive drop? From 95% in high-end places all the way down to just 30% in budget ones. Now look at the other bars for furniture and exits. It's the same story, a steep decline right across the board. The data is telling us that safety isn't a standard feature, it's treated like a premium. And for anyone who just wants the raw numbers, this table lays it all out. And notice how fast the numbers fall off. In budget apartments, only 15% have adequate emergency exits. That's a really sobering number.
The big takeaway here is you need to understand exactly what your rent is and isn't paying for. Okay, so we get the problem, we've seen the data. Now for the most important part. What can you actually do about it? This section is your game plan, your personal safety check you can do before you even dream of signing a lease. We've boiled it all down to 4 simple steps you can take on any apartment viewing. Seriously, think of it as your own little safety audit. It's all about looking past the surface and actively checking for these 4 key signs of a safe place. And here it is, the detailed checklist you can run through. Ask about the permits. Look for those deep, ugly cracks in beams or columns. Walk the stairwells yourself and map out your escape route. Go up to the wardrobe and give it a little jiggle. Is it attached to the wall? And then finally, take a step back and ask yourself, does the rent here truly reflect the safety level? This is how you make an informed decision, not just an emotional one. Let's end with this one thought. A small effort can make a major difference. You don't have to be a structural engineer to do this. You just have to be informed and you have to be observant. A few simple checks, a few direct questions. That small effort is the most powerful tool you have. So the next time you're looking at an apartment, ask yourself, are you just looking at the decor or are you looking for the pillars that really truly matter?